Hi, my name's Bethany and I'm a professional photographer. We're moving now onto the section of visual media. This bit is perhaps taking the inspiration from all the amazing songs that you've written this week, and finally having a bit of a visual representation of that in lots of different ways. So the thing that I'm going to be talking to you about is how to use photographs to create album artwork. So I wanted to give you a few tips perhaps on how to take a good photo, the things that you need to consider, how to edit that photo, and then different ways that you can turn that into a bit of album artwork, something that you're used to seeing on the cover of an album, just to kind of package up your EP in a really professional way. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the most obvious thing, how to take a photo. The first thing that you're going to want to consider whilst you're taking the photo is what you want the photo to be of. Subject is so important. You've taken inspiration from so many different things whilst you've been writing this music. It would be good for you now to think back to that inspiration, and perhaps take some of that to give you an idea about what you want the photo to be of. Do you want it to be of yourself, or of an item in your home, perhaps a bit of a still life kind of setup? Whatever you decide to do is great. Anything that you feel connects with your music and is a good representation of your music. The next thing is the best way to take that photo. So the first thing that you should always be considering when you're coming to take a photo, whether that's of yourself or of an item or of somebody else, is that you need to have the right kind of lighting. Light is very different and unpredictable. It can change a lot, but it's the most important thing when it comes to photography, and you can use it in lots of different ways. But the thing that I'm going to just talk to you about is the most basic way to get a really good photo. The first thing you need to consider is that natural light is the best option if you can take the picture outside or near to a window. In the hours of daylight, that would be ideal. The one thing you do want to avoid is harsh sunlight. You don't want anything that's going to cast shadows or make everything look too harsh. You want things to be flat. So what you're looking for when you're looking for flat light is perhaps some shade, maybe going out on a bit more of an overcast day rather than a really sunny day. You tend to get slightly flatter light when you're coming towards the end of the day as well, or early in the morning, rather than right in the middle of the day when the sun's at its highest. So for example, the photo that I'm going to show you that I took this morning of James, we took that in a corner near to a window, so we got the natural light, but it was out of direct sunlight, it was in perfect flat shadow, and that meant that the whole image looked really clean and really bright and really sharp. So that's something that you're going to be looking for whether you're using a camera or you're using your phone. That's going to make a huge amount of difference. The other thing to consider when you're taking a photo is if you're taking a picture of yourself, if there's someone around to help, ask for help. Perhaps get a friend to take it for you, or a family member. Or if you haven't got that option, it's absolutely fine to maybe set up a self-timer. If you've got a little tripod, you could pop it on a tripod, but if not, stack it up on some books and put it in position, and just take as many photos as you can until you feel like you've got something that you're really happy and really comfortable with. So the next thing that we're going to move on to now that you've got that great photo is how you're going to edit it. Now, editing is very subjective, it's a very personal thing, and it's really where your style can really come out and shine. There's lots of different apps. If you're familiar with photography already, if perhaps you've got a camera or you take a lot of photos on your phone, you might already have your favourite editing apps, and if you do, great, use that. If you're a little bit more unfamiliar and you'd like something that could perhaps get you off the ground, we're just going to take a little look at the Lightroom app. The Lightroom app is free and it's a really great way of making little tweaks to your photo, but really making a big difference in making it look that bit more professional, and just cleaning it up a bit, just shining it up a bit. So this is the picture here in Lightroom that I took of James this morning. This is the one that I'm going to go for the album artwork in the end. So I just want to show you a few different features that Lightroom has that can really help to improve that. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the light option. Here we can change the exposure. You can make it really bright, really dark. I think I'm just going to brighten it up just a little bit, just to get those whites a little bit cleaner. And I'm going to do the same here with the highlights. So again, you can really brighten them up really bring them down. If you bring them down, that sort of flattens things out, and then if you bring them up, it just adds a little bit of contrast really. So I'm going to bring them up just a little bit. And then the shadows I'm just going to bring down just to add a little bit of contrast. And then I think I'm pretty happy with how that's looking on that area. So the next thing we'll look at is colour. So the white balance is really important. It's the way that the natural eye processes colour. It can be warm, it can be cool, and the way that we're going to process this is to just do it by eye. What looks right, what looks real. I think that the white balance is pretty much perfect here, but I'll just show you the difference between cooler colours and warmer colours. So this is when we warm it up, this is when we cool it down. It just adds slightly different tones to the image. I'm going to keep it where it is because I'm pretty happy that the white balance is right. And the same goes for the tint, adding a bit of pink, adding a bit of green. Again, I'm pretty happy with where that's sitting, but that's a really good way of just tweaking things. Perhaps if your lighting wasn't perfect, that could be a really good thing to do. So the next thing that we're going to look at is the effects. So here we have a few different options. There is texture, clarity, dehaze, vignette. You can look through all of those within your own time, but one that I really like is clarity. This one can really sharpen up an image, make it look a little bit more interesting. That's one that I'd just like to highlight there. Another really good one is the vignette option. You can sort of add a bit of an effect to your photo there with the vignette. That one's really great. And the other thing that is really important but is often overlooked is the crop feature. Now if you're doing album artwork, you might want to have a square photo. If you do, it's really easy to crop your photo just by tapping the bottom left corner, and then you could pick 1x1 square, and then that is really quickly cropped to square, which is perfect. Now that you've finished editing it, you can quickly export that to camera roll, and that will be saved for you. Okay, so now that we've got the photo finished, the next thing that we're going to look at is an app that is really great for simply turning your photo into some album artwork really quickly, really simply. And the app that we're going to use is Canva. Now, Canva is completely free. There are sort of paid features inside, so just be careful of that when you're using it, but it's really obvious. Nothing that you can accidentally purchase. So if we head into here, we can actually scroll across and there is an album cover option. And if you look through, there are some really cool options of designs that are already set up for you. They've already got really cool fonts. Perhaps you can have a little scroll through these and see which one speaks to the image that you've got in your mind the most. So I think I'm going to go for this one. I really like the way that this one looks. And we can have a look here at how we can change this. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the image in. So this has changed it to black and white, and I think it's possible to just change this by removing the filter. So I'm going to do that because I really like the colour version. And then you can think about the name of your EP. So this one we're going to call I Feel So At Home. So you can quickly adjust that, get things into place. Yep, pretty happy with how that looks. And then perhaps you can put your name at the bottom. The great thing about this as well is that there's different colour palettes to choose from. You can change the colours in whatever way that you want to. So I think I'm going to make this a nice dark green colour. And I think I'm also going to do the same here. I'm just going to tweak this until I am happy with it. And as you can see, really quickly we're starting to see an album cover. super fast, looks really effective. You can play with lots of different presets until you're happy with what you've got, and then just export it straight to your camera roll. And then it's done. So once you've finished this task, you'll have an amazing piece of album artwork that you can put with your EP, which would be just the perfect way to package it all up, finish it all off, and show a visual representation of the thing that you've created. It's really easy, anybody can do it with whatever you've got at your disposal. And I really encourage you to be as creative as possible with your photography, try different things, and just spend that little bit of time trying to work out exactly what it is that you want. Take inspiration from other artists, take inspiration from the art that you've created yourself, and you'll have something that's really cool to share with all of your friends.